Let's talk about someone who's been misunderstood so much in her career that it's almost unbelievable. Christina Aguilera. I'm sure you've heard her songs, Genie in a Bottle, Dirty, Beautiful, and so many others. But behind those hits, there's a story of a powerhouse artist who, for years, wasn't given the credit she truly deserved. Instead, the media, fans, and critics kept throwing her into this odd, often unfair competition.
Really high on Christina. I really admire her for being able to handle it and to do as well as she did. I think there were probably...
Ever wondered how someone as talented as Christina ended up being seen in such a distorted light? Well, let's dive into it. Let's take it back to 1999. Christina Aguilera hits the scene with Genie in a Bottle, and then, boom, the world was talking. The girl was so young, freakishly talented, and had that voice that literally freezes you in place. But this is not when they celebrated this powerhouse voice in her. What did the media do? Guess. It involved Britney Spears. Now, don't get me wrong, Britney was huge at the time. The media just couldn't let those two pop icons exist without stirring up some pot. They had to create a rivalry, right? Suddenly, it wasn't even about her or Britney's talent and unique styles anymore. It was who was better. Christina's vocal range, sent to the background. Her artistry, sent to the side. Apparently, the world could only handle one of those queens. The media kept this competition going like it was some kind of pop showdown, making it seem like only one could reign supreme. Britney, with her catchy anthems and larger-than-life persona, or Christina, with a voice that could bring anyone to tears. The truth? They were both killing it in their own ways, but the public rarely got to see that side. Instead of enjoying her virtues, the media made it a competition. Hit for hit, outfit for outfit, move for move. Honestly, it was a disservice to both of them. Christina's talent speaks for itself. Maybe she just didn't need as much recognition, and the constant comparisons were just wearing off on everyone.
There's always that comparison thing, which is really old by now. I'm just bored with the topic.
In retrospect, Britney and Christina were both icons in their own right. Then, the world was too caught up in sides to truly enjoy their individual genius. Now, let's get down to brass tacks, talking about that comparison. Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears are pop icons, right? The thing here is that while Christina wasn't just all image, the woman could bring it, soulfully tackle pop anthems or jazz as if it's just another form of pop, and Britney could bring an even more phenomenal combination of her talents in terms of choreography, stage presence, and having a knack for the most memorable pop anthems ever. But the media? They just would not let them shine individually. They would always pit them against each other, and instead of celebrating their differences, never let Christina stand out. It must have been like a nightmare for her to be compared to someone whose style is entirely different from hers, like she wasn't even good enough. It is really frustrating that this enormous talent she possessed with her voice was constantly belittled into this non-existent rivalry that made no sense. The truth is that Christina's voice was something else, powerful, emotional, and technically brilliant. But despite that, the world seemed to only see her in the context of competition. One can almost sense that she was never fully appreciated because of who she was outside that constant comparison. At the end of the day, both became stars in their own right. But Christina, she deserved recognition more than for what filled the media's need for a rivalry. That rivalry wasn't just some fun, competitive banter. It was a distraction, a constant comparison that overshadowed Christina's talent. Imagine being an artist who pours every ounce of passion into their craft, only to have the spotlight shift to who's winning instead of what you're creating. It's draining, and for Christina, it meant her incredible artistry took a backseat to media-fueled drama. Christina was just not another pop star, she was the voice. Her talent was unmatched, whether it be pop, soul, jazz, or a heart-wrenching ballad, she could ace them all. But instead of celebrating that multifacetedness, the media hooked us on that supposed rivalry. The constant script of who's better turned music into a numbers game, sales, radio plays, fan wars, leaving little room for appreciating what was unique to her. Truth is, Christina and her so-called rival had their own lanes, and it was always room enough for two. Back then, though, media thrived on fueling division, and we missed really enjoying her artistry. It wasn't about competition. It was about recognizing the different kinds of magic that each of them brought into music. In 2002, Christina Aguilera stepped out of her shoes with Stripped, and let's get real, it changed everything. It wasn't another album, it was a complete transformation. All of a sudden, that sweet, polished pop star everyone thought they knew was long gone. Here came the raw, honest, no bullshit spilling of Christina. For the first time in her life, she had stripped and could finally say, "This is who I am, take it or leave it." Of course, not everyone had the same view. Soon, the media struck back with the incessant declarations of too sexual or sensational. Well, that is quite a different story altogether. Stripped was nothing about shock value. It was about Christina taking charge of her identity, embracing all aspects of herself, flaws and all. This was an attempt to break free from the expectations and show the world who she really was. The powerful songs were packed in the album, starting with Dirrty, which featured some edge, fierce, and never hold back behavior that still cannot be placed next to anything else today, and Beautiful, remaining one of the most inspiring anthems of self-love among all. But the critics didn't see that. Instead, they focused on the outer cover. Her boldness was too much for the surface, but missed the deeper meaning of self-empowerment and self-acceptance. Now looking back, Stripped was more than an album. It was a cultural moment. It gave people permission to be themselves without apology. And that's exactly why it still resonates today. Now let's turn back the clock to 2010 when Christina Aguilera released Bionic. This was no ordinary album. It was bold, futuristic, and completely unlike anything she had done before. It was a fresh new sound, full of innovation and ahead of its time vibes. However, the thing is, it didn't fly as well as people had hoped. Rather than being feted for breaking the mold, Bionic was branded a flop. Why? Because it didn't follow the formula. People were expecting another Stripped or Genie in a bottle, but Christina had other plans. She wanted to explore, to experiment, to break the mold. Unfortunately, the world wasn't quite ready for it. But the media shifted their focus to something completely unrelated. That is, her appearance. Then came the unrelenting body shaming. It mattered little that she was delivering powerhouse vocals and redefining pop music. All mattered to the tabloids were the images in the mirror. And that, my friends, is just not fair. This one hurts. For years, the talent of Christina has been left on the sidelines as the media obsessed with her weight, her outfits, and if she had that perfect bikini body. Did they forget that this woman can hit notes most artists wouldn't even dream of? Sadly, they did, and that noise around her appearance often drowned out the incredible artistry she brought to the table. But here is the inspiring thing. Despite all this negativity, Christina never stopped. She just kept moving forward, evolving, and doing what she does best, singing her heart out. No amount of scrutiny or ridiculous comparisons could take away the fact that her voice is one of a kind. She's built a career that remains unmatched in terms of vocal power and artistic depth. So, after everything, why is Christina's legacy still rock solid? Simple. It's because of her voice, her artistry, and her fearless reinvention. She's a true pop icon, and no amount of media gossip or misinterpretation can change that. That's it from my side. So, what do you think? Was Christina Aguilera truly misunderstood, or did the media just love creating drama? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into pop culture, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.